she be on the Breakfast Club. I mean, she on the Breakfast Club, but she talked about old girl Layla Ali before. But usually she'll throw a little jab at her, but she give her props at the same time. Nah, I left.
So where did you go?
I just walked straight here. I stopped at McDonald's for a little bit, then left, came here. And I only went to McDonald's to get a couple of burgers because I already know you got the greens before. But as far as Layla Ali, going back to that real quick. So it's, you know, it's nice jabs, but of course she admit to her greatness and whatnot. But as far as like a part of the title for the Breakfast Club interview they just posted today with her on there, they mentioned that she spoke about Layla Ali.
How you don't know where it at?
Now, also today that was posted.
Then you get him the phone.
Was a Sway interview. I don't know if you know about Sway in the morning. But anyway, Layla Ali did a recent interview with him. So they posted that interview today also. So I think her interview is after Claressa Michelle's. But as far as the part of the title for her interview, they also noted that she responded to Claressa Shields. I ain't listened to that either. But I also got that interview on my phone.
So you was planning on listening to the rest on the way back?
Nah, I was planning on listening to it later on, smoking weed in my zone. I could listen to it without it, but it's just better, you know what I'm saying, in that zone.
Yeah, I'm already.
So that's what was on my mind. That's what I was hoping for. I'm like, when I go back later on, I'm gonna have something to look forward to. You know what I'm saying? So I got a couple other things, but those are like the two highlights.
No, come on now, you gotta drive back home.
What's one beer? Just like you said, what's two beers?
So what? But you driving. You got that money stuff to go to.
Y'all look high?
Yep.
Yeah, I bought a pack on the way over here. So I got like one left in my other. I'm gonna go ahead and finish that. But yeah, those are the two highlights. So I can't wait to check those out. So I'm sort of teasing myself. I'm kind of like savoring it. You know what I mean? Because I like Claressa Shields because I think her skill level is raw compared to what I've seen with a lot of other fighters, including the other ones. Claressa Shields seemed to be extremely fast, but she got a lot of gas. She really don't get tired because her speed, she maintained the speed throughout all her fights. You know how they say, like, you know, fatigue might set in by the time you get to like the 7th round up into the 10th round or whatnot. Fatigue might kick in, but her pace, her speed pace don't change too much. So I think that, you know, that's, look, even if I wasn't like, if I was like, I don't really care about old girl, I'm not a big fan of her, I would still mention that speed in her endurance, you know what I'm saying, the stamina. But yeah, heck yeah, those, man. And I gotta keep highlighting it. She from Flint, Michigan.
I didn't go to the drink of that.
But yeah, so yeah, she definitely got that consistency. So I like her. But my question was finally answered. Not my question, but my yearn, I guess, was granted, kind of. As far as like she be mentioning this UFC fighter. I'm talking into my phone. Remember I told you I just unpaused it because I said I want to make this out of a blog and just keep talking about it. Expound on what I was saying about Claressa. That's why I opened that door. I was finna just talk into my phone outside, but then she was saying it's too cold, so I'm talking into my phone.
You know it's too cold.
But yeah, as I was saying, yeah, Amanda Nunes, she's a UFC fighter, welterweight. So, you know, Claressa was always making it known that she wanted to fight her too, because she felt like she'd have wrote the greatest female fighter of all time, the greatest woman of all time. So Amanda Nunes' last fight that she had recently, she won. So during the post press conference, a guy asked her about that. She finally responded. I was glad because I wanted to hear what she really had to say. And in that press conference, they got a perfect visual for it. When she answered the question, I'm looking at her face. I'm like, wow. You could tell like she's irritated by that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, hearing about this challenge by Claressa Shields and all that. And Amanda Nunes, when she answered the question, she was like, I wrestle or whatnot. I'm a basically she was saying how she was a trained martial artist and all that, jiu-jitsu and all that, how she's going to be superior in that aspect. And when they fight, if they fight, she would just wrestle her to the ground and finish her. That's what she said. She was like, I will wrestle. This is exactly how she said it. I wrestled the shit out of her. I wrestled the shit out of you. And just finish you. So you can know how that feels or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like her response wasn't PR to me. That shit was a realistic response. And what I got from it is that she do feel like she's a much better fighter than Claressa. She feel like she'll destroy her because she was like, it takes years. Like the lady that she fought, she trained in jiu-jitsu for years and she still couldn't, handle her. And she was like, okay, you can get somebody that's like an amateur fighter and put Claressa Shields against that person. And Claressa wouldn't last past the first round. That's what she was saying. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, wow, she was straightforward with that. Because another reporter in the audience followed up with it. You know what I mean? So that was basically the totality of her response. On Claressa Shields' recent Instagram, she mentioned that. She was like, because I asked her about that. I typed it in. She read my question, and then she answered it. This was like a week ago, maybe a week and a half ago. But she was like, she just looked at it. Because I asked her what she think about what Nunes said. So she was like, yeah, I just look at it like, she's just talking her stuff or whatever. But of course, they'll make millions of dollars for the fight. And she's still interested in it. That was her response. So, in me processing it, like right there in the moment, I'm thinking like, okay, that makes sense what she was saying. As far as like the experience and it's a different ball game. But I'm like Kimbo Slice. That's the first dude that came to my mind. I'm like, he wasn't a trained martial artist either. He was a street fighter. But he at least won some of his earlier fights. Even before he fought, I forget that guy's name. It was light-skinned, short black dude. You know what I'm saying? He lasted past the first round with him. I think they went at least 3 rounds. I believe so. Or did he win that fight? Yeah. Kimbo Slice won that fight. But, yeah, way before that fight, his first UFC fights, you know what I'm saying? He didn't get completely destroyed. Now I'm like, okay, in Claressa's favor, being that she do got that Olympic background in boxing, I'm like, that's a great advantage for her because she's deadly in her sense. So she might not be able to be an expert, in a short space of time, but she at least got something solid on her shoulder, more so than Kimbo Slice did. And if Kimbo Slice did all right, at least in the beginning stages of his career, he may not have became a superstar, you know what I'm saying, and won the title or whatnot, but as far as like his fights, he did all right. Within his first 10 fights, he did all right. Claressa Shields got more of a background to her, you know what I'm saying, on the international scale. So that works out in her favor as far as the boxing game. Now, even though I like Amanda Nunes, one thing that kind of threw me off with her, it didn't change my opinion. I was just like, come on now. In the past, old girl that she fought, what was her name? I think she in the wrestling, world wrestling, I still call it federation. Ronda Rousey, that's her name. When she fought Ronda Rousey, she knocked out. And after the fight, she was bragging. This is exactly what she said. I'm talking about Amanda Nunes. She was like, I don't know why her coach, somebody said something to her like, like she could actually stand up and box with me. I'm like, you get up. She was bragging about her boxing skills, even after that fight. So she on record bragging about it. So I was kind of thrown off, like, during the post-press conference. I'm like, dang, she kind of, she was like, I don't even like boxing. I forgot to mention that. She was like, I don't even really like boxing that much. I like what I do. I'm thinking to myself, like, damn, you was bragging before that about your boxing game. So it was like, it was a little bit of a, don't want to say contradiction, but it's like she was playing it off, you know what I mean, in a sense, playing something off. I ain't going to say she was really contradicting herself, but, She was playing something off. So I'm not sure if she's scared of Claressa Shields, but she basically says she think it's unlikely that the fight will occur. But if she do want to fight her, come to her domain or whatnot. That's what she was saying. So yeah, that's my like that's kind of how I look at it, somewhat in Claressa's favor, as far as like, okay, yeah, I mean, it's true. You know, she don't have a background in this, but, you know, considering other people that didn't either, you know, they did all right, fairly speaking. But she's a professional boxer, you know, who won the Olympics twice. Yeah, she's still young. But also to add to that, I give her credit for this. She said by the end of 2020, this is a guarantee, this is what she said. By the end of 2020, she'll have her first professional I can't believe the fucking simple as word escapes me. I forget the word, but basically her first martial art fight. She'll have it by the end of 2020. I'm like, all right, she really want this fight. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just something that she's throwing out there for entertainment purposes. Like, she really want this fight. She's willing to go that route and take all the necessary steps, because that's something that Amanda Nunes sort of touched on, even though she said she wouldn't make it past that person. So, even though Amanda Nunes kind of rubbing stuff off or whatnot, like playing stuff off, like kind of like, yeah, whatever, this person ain't really on my level, and I ain't saying anything. I'm not saying that to say anything bad against her. That's just her position. She's kind of like, nah, Claressa ain't really on my level, blah, blah, blah. But even though she threw that suggestion out there for a fight with somebody much lower than her, like an amateur, and Claressa Shields would lose the first round or whatnot, by Claressa Shields saying that she'll have her first fight by the end of 2020 in that format, you know, she's showing that she want to take the steps. And if she end up winning that fight, even though she becoming more popular, this is how I'm looking at it. If she end up winning that fight, she's definitely going to be like, you know, you're going to get a few money signs on her name, definitely. And it'll be something that'll come under the radar of Amanda Nunes, or at least her team. You know what I mean? Because then it would contradict her statement of she wouldn't make it past the first round with a lesser tier fighter. You know what I mean? The fact that Claressa willing to go that route, I give her credit for that. Look, that's just my opinion. I feel like, you know, the political, like the conversation regarding that, especially when the two are compared, and then the whole merging aspect of it, man, that's, by the end of 2020, if all those things manifest like that, yeah, it's definitely going to be a conversation about that. So, hell yeah. Wanted to give me some greens so I could watch those uploads I got on my phone. The Breakfast Club interview with Claressa Shields, and then Sway in the Morning with Layla Ali. And I'm going to watch them in the correct order. So yeah, that's the end. It's 10:40 p.m. and it's January 16th.
No. I just bought you a